coach, Mikey Varas. We can start with questions in English here in the front row. Tony?
Thank you for your time, Mikey. How would you go ahead and describe tonight's match and the positives and negative aspects in terms of what the team faced today against Vancouver?
Yeah, I think we all feel that we play against the best team in the league. This is the standard right now. They're flying. Metrics show it. The eye test shows it. The standings show it. And then you see them play, and you can see that they're very good. So ultimately, I think we start the game pretty stable. And we show that we can hang with them, but losing too many duels, too many individual actions that they don't miss, we miss, and this is the difference when you play against really high quality teams. It doesn't take a lot for that to change, right? And then I think ultimately we come out of the second half a little bit sharper, and we. Unfortunately, in a moment where we have a lot of momentum, we then concede against that momentum, which is always making it a much harder situation. And then, the referee makes 2 yellow cards in 25 minutes on a player who had 2 fouls. And I think the league has to take a serious look at what's happening with our team and across the league, because you have multiple teams on 5 red cards, 15 games through a season. And we've played 230 or 240 minutes with a player down. In a lot of situations that don't look clear and obvious that you should be playing a man down, and we need to do something about that, because here we're trying to build football in this country. We want to play football, and to play football, of course, we need to make sure that there's player safety involved. So if there's clear red cards, like, we have to take care of that. But we also need to play as much 11v11 as possible. When you look around the world, this situation is not happening. And we need to take a close look at that, because it's just really unfortunate that not only us, but I think there's some other teams in the league that could be a little bit frustrated with how that's going.
And then how would you qualify this first half of the season, and then what are the challenges that you hope to be addressed coming out of the break?
Yeah, the first half of the season has seen us go through ups and downs. You know, we came into a short rest, into a short preseason. We knocked Pumas out of CONCACAF Champions Cup in our first season. We beat Toluca at home, who's a absolute juggernaut with red cards. We go there, we give it our all. So we make a good run. We also start the league very strong. With 3 wins and not conceding, and then all of a sudden, we start to hit some adversity, where I think a number of factors, including red cards, just our level dropping, travel, a lot of situations where we hit a lot of adversity and we're not playing at our best. Then I think you see the group claw their way back to better and better form recently. While still being unhappy that we're not closing games as well as we should be. But you can see us clawing back. And ultimately, the reality is we got 17 points on 15 games. We got 18 games in the second half of the season, and we got to go after those as best we can.
Here in the front row.
Thanks, Mikey, for your time. You said earlier in the season, after successful year one, you expected the league to adjust. Now that we're at the halfway point, is there anything specific that you've noticed? And how will the break help you with your own adjustments, or is it just as simple as tightening up what you guys do?
Yeah, I think we've already made adjustments. If you've seen in recent weeks, we play much more in the wide areas. Teams are completely taking over, shutting down the middle of the field. I think teams are playing a lot more direct on us. So we need to address a few things. One, if we can become more dynamic in the wide areas, which I think we've made steps in, I think it's going to really, really help us. 2, we need to defend the spacing behind us better. This has been an issue during the season. And we've made some steps forward, but really we got to challenge ourselves to be much better in that. And then we got to make sure that we're clean on the ball, so we're not giving up big transitions. You know, you have a lot of the ball, and then when you give it up in situations that turn into huge chances, it feels very frustrating. And I'm really proud of this group because they're all in to do their best. It's there's a feeling in the training environment that everybody's pushing themselves to be as good as they can. And even tonight, for example, when we get the red card, you could expect maybe some frustration, some heads hanging, and they kept pushing. We created a couple of chances, get to 4-2, maybe even get to 4-3 with a man down. So I think it's about buttoning up the adjustments we've already started making and really using that time wisely to get sharp in those things. Or maybe we haven't had as much training time right now recently.
And you said Thursday specifically, this was a barometer test going up against a team like Vancouver. After the night, what's your assessment?
Yeah, it's tricky because if you look at the final score, you probably think that we're very far away, right? But then you take into account that we played the last 25 minutes with a man down. It's a little bit tough. So you look at it like this, I think. One, we're at 2-1, and we create a huge chance for the 2-2. Huge chance. Okay? Then, of course, we end up losing 4-2. And we're down 2-0 at some point. So we're close, but we're not so close here. And what we need right now, I think we all agree on, is our style of play and our game plan. We're good. Everybody's committed, everybody knows what to do, and we can see that we can cause teams trouble. But we all need to really focus on coming back fresh and ready to increase our quality in every single action. Because if our individual actions start to be made at a higher level, where I think you see a Vancouver, especially in the first half, pretty much punish you with that quality in those decisive moments, then we can be there with them. But I think as a team, we're close, but we all need to push ourselves. And that starts with me, right? I got to come back and make sure that I'm the best coach possible for these guys. What I do believe is that we're going to make a run in the second half. I got no doubts about that.
Mikey, the summer transfer window will open during your break. Do you expect to be active? And what positions do you feel like you'd like to see some reinforcements to sort of take those next steps you're talking about?
Yeah, we'll be active. The club is ambitious, and you can see that some reinforcements will really help us, especially in these really tough games. We'll probably target an elite attacker on the highest line. Ideally, a midfielder who's more of a dynamic mover profile / dribbler or bowler, and then we need to make sure that we bring some depth and some competition on the back line in terms of center backs and fullback.
Hi, Mickey. Thank you for your time. Obviously, you brought up the card issue about the league. Coming out of a break, exciting second half of the season, is there a possible change for the players to be a lot more responsible with their challenges and probably being a little bit more disciplined to avoid some of these penalties and some of these actions from the refs?
Yeah, and that's for all of us for sure. I think one of the goals, the idea is going to be to reset, reload, and shoot ourselves out of the cannon. It's the new reality of MLS. You play this first half, then there's a break. You get a chance to work on some things, and then second half of the season is a whole brand new season. It's just the fact that everybody starts at a different place, basically. So for sure, one of the things that we're going to challenge ourselves on is, and that we've been working towards, is that the players take the final steps of ownership, that they own this, and that they lift us the final meters. And you saw that happen in the second half of last season, and that's where unbelievable things are possible. We have a group here that they're going to be fully committed to that. So we're going to do whatever we have to do to make sure that we get on the track that we need to get on, because ultimately the fans have just been unbelievable to us. Frontera specifically leading the stadium, but the whole stadium in general. In these tough moments, I've really felt them just with a huge energy with us, and it makes us build that feeling of responsibility that we have to pick it up, and we are going to do that for them.
Mikey, I'm curious on Godoy. He was unavailable tonight. Is this injury something for him to be worried about for the World Cup, or was this just to prevent maybe something aggravating so he's ready?
Yeah, he picked up a little bit of a strain, but he should be fine for the World Cup. Now it's just him focusing on his recovery. We're going to be in coordination to make sure that we have him get there.
Any questions in Spanish? Okay, Nora?
Si me podrías describir lo que ha sucedido en esta primera parte de la temporada y específicamente también lo que mencionó de este partido en contra Vancouver.
Sí, creo que es una temporada donde hemos tenido muchas altas y bajas. Bueno, empezamos con una pretemporada corta, pero salimos muy bien para empezar, yendo a la segunda ronda de CONCACAF, empezando con 3 victorias en la liga, y después, bueno, entramos en una racha muy difícil con tarjetas rojas, con los viajes, con lesiones, y también bajando nuestro nivel a nivel de rendimiento. Y después yo creo que hemos tenido una época donde poco a poco hemos salido de esa mala racha y hemos encontrado cerca de nuestro mejor, pero no nuestro mejor, y sabemos que no es nuestro mejor. Y ahora la realidad es que tenemos 17 puntos con 15 partidos jugados, y ahora tenemos que atacar la segunda parte con una rabia para ganar todos los partidos posibles, porque esta liga es para entrar en playoffs, y cuando entras en playoffs cualquier cosa puede pasar. Y este partido yo creo que empezó bastante bien, un partido bastante estable contra el mejor equipo en la liga. Pero hay momentos de calidad individual donde ellos marcan la diferencia y nosotros no, y nosotros tenemos que apuntar para este segundo pretemporada para llegar a nuestros mejores rendimientos individuales, porque a nivel de equipo creo que los chicos tienen mucho compromiso, han mostrado una gran claridad en lo que queremos hacer, pero son estos momentos justos que marcan la diferencia. Y solamente para decir lo que dije en inglés, yo siento que tenemos una gran responsabilidad en la segunda parte de la temporada, porque la afición ha sido espectacular, Frontera como líderes, pero todo el estadio, y sé que hay algunos que están frustrados, y nosotros totalmente entendemos, porque nosotros, todos ellos quieren lo mejor para San Diego, y eso, lo mejor es totalmente ganar. Entonces nosotros vamos a atacar esta segunda parte como he dicho, una rabia y una intensidad para dejar todo en la cancha.
¿Y cuáles son los aspectos que se tienen que trabajar para que este equipo esté listo para esa segunda parte, y también cuáles son los objetivos en el mercado para el equipo?
Sí, nosotros tenemos que atacar mejor en los espacios por banda, que creo que hemos hecho unos pasos buenos en los últimos partidos, pero podemos ser mejor todavía. Tenemos que ser un poquito más limpios con el balón para no encajar estas transiciones muy difíciles, muy largas, que terminan en ocasiones de gol. Y tenemos que trabajar en cómo defendemos el espacio detrás de la última línea, porque los equipos están jugando muy directo contra nosotros. Y podemos mejorar en todos estos aspectos, los jugadores lo saben, yo lo sé. Y mi trabajo ahora es pensar cómo voy a ayudar. Tengo que ser el mejor técnico posible para ayudar a los chicos, porque ellos tienen un compromiso total, pero lo tenemos que mostrar. Y dices en el mercado, sí, vamos a ser, nosotros somos un club protagonista, entonces obviamente estamos buscando cómo reforzar el grupo. Eso sería un atacante en la última línea de nivel elite, un mediocampista que por ahí tiene un poquito de dinámica en cómo se mueve, conducir balón, ganar pelotas, y después necesitamos refuerzos en la línea defensiva para que si hay lesiones o cualquier cosa no quedamos cortos ahí.
Mikey, buenas noches. ¿Cómo fortalecer el carácter de este equipo ante la adversidad? Tú que te has considerado como un motivador dentro del equipo, si nos puedes comentar.
Bueno, primero creo que tengo que ser un modelo primero y principal, porque cuando las cosas son difíciles, todos te están mirando y cómo vas a actuar. Y por ejemplo, todo el mundo está frustrado con el resultado, no hay nadie ahí feliz. Pero hay una cosa muy importante, que cuando encajamos en la tarjeta roja, los chicos no pararon de rendir. Y para mí esto da una sensación y un olor de carácter que es muy importante, porque es muy fácil empezar a dar excusas. Y lo segundo es encontrar la manera de demandar más de mí primero y después de ellos, y encontrar la manera que todo el grupo mira al espejo primero y encuentra la manera que cada uno puede dar un poquito más, y esto siempre tiene que empezar conmigo. Entonces ojalá yo voy a estar totalmente comprometido para ayudar en eso.
La segunda pregunta, ¿cómo mantiene la calma ante un arbitraje que a veces es muy tendencioso? ¿Cómo no perder la cabeza minuto a minuto?
Durante el partido, no, muy difícil. Mira, yo soy un técnico muy calmado, pero yo ya tengo 2 tarjetas amarillas esta temporada, uno más y me sorprenden. Y las 2 tarjetas rojas vienen después de la 6ª y 7ª tarjeta roja en campo, porque estoy viendo cosas que yo no entiendo. Pero tengo los asistentes que me están ayudando mucho, porque este partido fue muy difícil de no perder la calma. Y es siempre reforzar en mí mismo que los árbitros están tratando de su mejor manera también. No hay nada en contra de nosotros, solamente parte del partido, y el grupo me tiene que ver con calma, porque si yo pierdo mi cabeza también ellos pueden.
Gracias.
Thanks for your time, Mikey.
Thank you.